Good day everyone, my name is Nilo Lantaco Villacorte from BPID EP26, and today I'm going to share and teach to you about the history and background, court dimensions, facilities and equipment, rules and regulations, officiating officials, and basic skills in ultimate Frisbee. The Frisbee was created by an American inventor, Walter Frederick Morrison, in 1948. Fred Morrison and his wife liked to play by throwing upside-down cake pans to each other on the beaches in California. Throwing cake or pie pans wasn't new, but Fred Morrison had the idea to make a plastic version of it. An investor named Warren Franklin partnered with Morrison to get the idea off the ground. After years of selling his findings in fairs and shows, Fred Morrison made a deal with a toy company, 1O Manufacturing, in 1957. The founders of 1O heard college students use a different name of the disc. The Frisbee Baking Company made pies in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and throwing their pies and had been happening on college campuses for years. Every pie pan was stamped Frisbee pies. 1O registered the trademark name Frisbee and added it to the disc in 1958. After that, Frisbee began flying off the shield and became a popular toy all over the world. The first name for the plastic toy Fred Morrison sold in 1948 was the Flying Saucer. The first sighting of saucer-shaped unidentified flying object or UFOs in the United States happened in 1947, and everyone was talking about them. Fred Morrison even gave people space license with each flying saucer they bought. In 1955, Fred Morrison changed the design and started selling this as Bluetooth flutters. This name stayed on the disc until 1964. In 1964, Ed Hendrick and 1O Manufacturing started developing Frisbee sports. He changed the Frisbee design to make a professional model for tournaments. The team sports Ultimate Frisbee started around 1965, and the first became popular at high school. Frisbee Golf was created by Ed Hendrick around 1976. Many other disc sports have been created, which has increased the popularity of Frisbees. Here in our country, which is the Philippines, Ultimate Frisbee is slowly but surely making its presence felt in our country, which is the Philippines. Despite being a relatively new sport in the country, Filipino players have already made their work or mark internationally with the local team Boracay Dragons, finishing second in the World Beach Ultimate Championship for 2 consecutive seasons in Brazil 2007 and in Italy 2011. The Philippines is also making waves in the grass category, topping the Singapore Ultimate Open 2012 and placing 7 out of 15 countries in 2012 World Ultimate and GATS Championship in Osaka earlier this year. The game has steadily gained a following in the country since it was introduced to Filipinos by foreign tourists in Boracay back in 2002. Now, there are several local teams and tournaments year-round. The Philippines Ultimate Association has also been put up to run the sports affairs. Ultimate Frisbee in the Philippines is growing and evolving so fast to the point that players really travel to attend provincial tournaments. There are so many people who get hooked, so if you're into Ultimate Frisbee, you'll be spoiled for choice in the Philippines alone. According to Wendell Simbulan, one of the leading proponents of the sports in the country, which is the Philippines, he said that we want the Philippines to be the ultimate Frisbee center in Asia. The ultimate Frisbee field is 40 yards or 37 meters wide and 120 yards or 110 meters long. Although almost any size will work as long as both sides of the field are equal. Each end zone is 25 yards deep and the playing area is 70 yards. A human step is an average above 1 yard, so the easiest way to measure out on the field and apply is to count your steps. A brick mark is centrally located on both sides of the field 20 yards or 80 meters from the end zone. Bricks sometimes aren't marked even at the legitimate tournaments, so it is important to remember that bricks are 20 steps in the field. The entire 40 by 120 box is the playing field. If the Frisbee leaves this area, it will be considered out of bounds. You don't really need to know this, but the exact center of the field is 20 yards from the sideline and 35 yards from the end zone line. You're officially ready to set up an awesome ultimate field. Disc. The most obvious but most important piece of equipment you need to play Ultimate Frisbee is a disc. According to their disc technical standards, it has to be 175 grams plus or minus 3 grams. The diameter must be 274 millimeters plus or minus 3 millimeters. The height must be 32 millimeters plus or minus 2 millimeters. If a disc does not meet these standards, then it cannot be used in official play. Team uniform. Another important equipment item is some type of clothing that will make it easy to identify your teammates during gameplay. Clothing should be easily identifiable so that you do not accidentally pass to a member of the opposite team or end stall before passing to ensure you are passing to the right person. Personal gear. While there are not specific requirements on the other clothing worn during a game, there are certainly articles of clothing that would be beneficial during play and help enhance your game overall. Shoes. One very important thing to have for Ultimate Frisbee is a good pair of shoes that will keep you comfortable even through all the running and jumping. As a result, you are going to want a pair of athletic shoes that is designed for the type of terrain or which you will be playing. If you are playing outdoors on a field, a pair of cleats will be the most beneficial. Gloves. Gloves may be worn by the hands but shall be unpadded, not exceeding one thickness of leather over the palm side of the hand, which includes finger and thumb. Players are not allowed to use sackcloth on sticky substances that remain on the disc. Teams. There are 2 teams, each with an equal number of players, normally 7, but the size can change. In mixed Ultimate Frisbee, at least 3 members of each gender must be on the field at all times. Initial play. Teams begin by lining up in front of their respective end zone line. The defense team throws the Frisbee to the offense team or hook. Scoring. Each time the offense completes a pass in the defense end zone, the offense score a point. After each score, teams start again at the end zones, but in the other part of the field. Movement of the disc. Players may pass the disc in any direction. However, once players have the disc, they must stop and cannot run with the disc. You can pivot 1 foot planted. The thrower or the person with the disc has 10 seconds to pass it. The marker or the defender guarding the thrower counts the stall, meaning he or she counts to 10. If the thrower is unable to pass within 10 seconds, the team loses possession of the disc, and the other team begins at the same spot. Change of position or turnovers. When a pass is not completed, the disc is out of bounds, dropped, touches the ground, blocked, intercepted, or the thrower doesn't pass the disc in 10 seconds. When this happens, the defense immediately takes the position of the disc. Fouls, violations, and infractions. Ultimate is a non-contact sport. Physical contact is not allowed. The marker may not come closer than 1 disc diameter to the thrower or arm distance glass. The marker may not hit or grab the disc out of the hand of the thrower. They may, however, try to block the disc with their hands or feet after it's thrown. The thrower may not be defended by more than 1 player at the same time. If opposing players catch the disc at the same time, the offensive player gets the position. Picks and screen, when a player prevents another player from moving, are also prohibited. Self-refereeing. There are no referees. The players are responsible for making their own foul and line calls. The spirit of the game places the responsibility of fair play on every player. Substitution. Players can be replaced after a score, as many players as they want, or when an injury happens, the game is stopped. Ultimate Frisbee lacks real referees. Instead, every player is a referee. Players are responsible for calling their own fouls and calls. Only the player that is fouled can call a foul. The sport of Ultimate has been known as the self-officiating sports, but in situations where there is an important tournament or important game, observers may be called in by the tournament directors and or a team so as to keep order between the competing teams. Not every game at the tournament will have observers, and not every tournament will have them. Thank you for watching. God bless and keep safe. Thank you for watching. God bless and keep safe.